Hello everybody, how are you guys? This video is called 10 Things You Can Only Do in Columbus, Ohio. It's July 1st. We're switching my focus from the Texas book to the book called Joe Ditzel Has Some Problems in Ohio, and this video is called 10 Things You Can Only Do in Columbus, Ohio. If you're new to the channel, this video is me just making up a bunch of stuff off the top of my head. And the results may vary, but let's see how it goes. Let's kick it off. Everybody knows that Columbus, Ohio is the home of the Ohio State University. And if you're a Buckeye fan or you're a Buckeye alumni, you know that you could land your plane in Malaysia, get out of the plane with an Ohio State University t-shirt on, and everybody will know you are from or related to Columbus, Ohio. But a little known fact about Ohio State, about the Ohio State University, is of course they have this giant campus, and when you have a campus that big, some things don't get as much attention because the campus was formed in 1860, guys. That oval, that was the campus. That was the entire campus. And so in those days, the students lived right on that oval, okay? They didn't have all the stadium or anything else back in 1860. In fact, that campus was out in the country. Well, guess what they also didn't have in 1860? Plumbing. So it's a little known fact that the original outhouses that were used in 1860, in fact, it was kind of a joke by the students because when the university announced that they were officially changing the name from Ohio State to the Ohio State University, some students wrote on the outhouses, the outhouse of the Ohio State University. And so guys, in one of the groves, there's several groves of trees on the otherwise open oval, open meaning lawn, it's this big lawn, big giant lawn. But there's several groves of trees, and in one of those groves is one of the original outhouses used by students and faculty alike. They're, when you gotta go, you gotta go. And it didn't matter if you were an esteemed professor or a snotty new freshman that could barely find your way around campus. Everybody used the same outhouse, and it's still there, guys. The outhouse in one of the groves in the oval at the Ohio State University, and it's one of 10 things you can only do is see that in Ohio, at Columbus, Ohio. Number 2, guys, Columbus has grown like a weed, and one of the most exciting areas that has grown and become very popular is called the Short North. Now, it's kind of a hipster place now. A lot of the youngsters, and when I say youngsters, I mean people below 45, are all moving in there. They want to be with the cool kids. They want to be with the music, the restaurants, the nightclubs. It's all there. And one of the oldest nightclubs in the Short North is called Shorties. Now, Shorties wasn't named that because there was some bar owner or manager named Shorty or even a regular customer. Guys, in those days, we're talking about days of Prohibition is when Shorties was first established in the Short North. Sometimes the police weren't too quiet. They didn't use a lot of discretion when they came in to bust up places for selling illegal alcohol. And what they used to do is sometimes they'd come in guns a-blazing, and people would duck down. They'd crouch down so they could get out of the hellfire. And that's when the police started calling them Shorties, because they'd get all crouched down and they get short is what they used to say. You've heard that movie Get Shorty. Well, they just say get short. And Shorties is still there. And it's one of the few places that is around from the early days of Columbus. But of course, the Short North is one of the oldest neighborhoods, and that is one of the oldest bars and restaurants in town. And it's number 2 on our list of things you can only do in Columbus, Ohio, and that's go to Shorties. And in fact, you may want to get short just to fit right in. Number 3 on our list of things you can only do in Columbus, Ohio. Now, a lot of people ride their bikes along the Olentangy River Road. It's a bike path that runs clear through the city, guys, and it's not a huge city, but it's pretty big. And you could ride and ride. It'll take you a whole day to get through that thing. And why? Why would it take you a whole day? You're saying, hey, Joe, I'm a professional bicyclist. It's not going to take me but 2 hours to ride plumb from one end of town to the other. But guys, this is Ohio. You don't realize that this bike path has its own pub network. There's a network of mini pubs all along the bike path. That means you can grab a beer every quarter mile, guys. And that's why it's going to take you all day, because you are not going to be able to resist the IPAs, the stouts, the athletic beers, or what they call in Ohio, light beers, right? And that is something you can only do in Columbus, Ohio, and that's visit a mini pub every quarter mile along the Olentangy River bike path. Number 4. Wow, what's the biggest sport in Columbus? Of course, it's football. And Ohio State gets all the press, all the attention, and for a good reason. The university has done a good job with the football program over many decades, from way back in the 1920s. In fact, Ohio Stadium was built because the crowds were so big and they couldn't see. So the university said, let's build a stadium, and let's build it much bigger than we need, so that when the campus grows, we're growing along with it, and it worked out like a charm. So everybody knows that football is big, but what you don't know is that Capital University Law School, so Capital University is a small school on the east side of town in Bexley, and the law school is there as well, and the law school has its own football team. Now, the law school has only enough students to field a football team, so it's co-ed, and they play against football law school teams around the country. Now, I didn't even know there was such a thing, but apparently law schools are full of aggressive people, and aggressive lawyer types like to play football because they can get their frustrations out. You know, they get to tort class and they get headaches and they get wound up, and they're studying like fiends because they're trying to get into a big prominent law firm. Well, what do you do to release the pressure? You want to bash somebody, right? And that's football. And so if you are a law student in Columbus, you may want to consider going out for the Capital University Law School football team. You'll get all your frustrations out, and it'll help you study, and it'll help you stay relaxed for tests. And guys, it's number 4 on our list of things you can only do in Columbus, Ohio. Number 5. Wow, while we're talking about universities, we might as well talk about Gallagher University. Now, Gallagher University is over there in Hilliard. And Hilliard is now a suburb of yuppies and, prepsters and youngsters and new families and all kinds of people. But back in the day, it was just a bunch of farms. And it kind of had a country bumpkin kind of an image. Well, Gallagher University was established out there in Hilliard by a bunch of farmers back in the 1870s. It was going to be a competitor to the Ohio State University. And, these guys were all named Jed and Slim and Billy Bob, and they didn't want to name a university Billy Bob U. So they made up the name Gallagher because they thought it had a kind of an English-Irish kind of sound. And they established a university, and they funded it through their proceeds from the farm. And in fact, sometimes they'd make lunches for all the students. Well, the farm wives would make lunches. Well, now Gallagher has not grown a whit. I mean, they have not had more than 40 students in that place the entire time, guys. Since the 18-whatevers, when they started. I mean, there's just this little tiny school, right? And the thing about it, guys, is that because of that, the scholarships are aplenty. And if you want to go to school for free at an accredited university in a major city, you might want to apply to Gallagher University, because you might get in. You're going to get in, and you're going to be able to go for completely no charge. Guys, it's something you can only do in Columbus, Ohio. Number 6. You know, healthcare is such an important conversation we're having in the country. Is there enough healthcare for the citizens of the United States? Well, in Columbus, if you think you have any kind of problems or concerns about your ticker, and by your ticker I mean your heart, you can rest assured, and I'll tell you why. Because, see, Columbus is one of the fast food test market capitals of the country. It's one of the most important test markets for fast food chains in the country. So when the rest of the country sees a new food item, in Columbus, Ohio, they've probably already seen it for a complete year, right? And a company was trying to see how it sold before they rolled it out nationwide. Well, because fast food is so popular in Columbus, naturally, you're going to have some heart problems in a market like that, a city like that. And as a result, the heart care, the pulmonary care, the cardiac care in that city is off the charts, guys. You're going to have, I mean, in one study, they showed that a heart surgeon lived in every other house. Now, I'm thinking that might be Upper Arlington or Bexley, okay? I don't think heart surgeons are living down there in Canal Winchester, okay? Maybe one. No, that's accurate, but you see what I mean? But the point is, there's all kinds of people that know how to resuscitate, repair, and improve your ticker. And so that means that you're going to have the best heart care in the country, and it's something you can only do in Columbus, Ohio. Number 7. 6 or 7. Number 7. Sure. Football's big. Hockey's big. But you know what else is big? Soccer, or what you might call proper football, or as they say in England, football. Or for short, they say footy. Well, there's a soccer team in Columbus, Ohio, believe it or not, called the Columbus Crew. And what a lot of people don't know is that in order to grow the sport, the Columbus Crew brings on one citizen player for every game, okay? So they bring in one citizen player. You don't have to be a soccer player, but you can play professional soccer for one game with the Columbus Crew. And this is a full-on real soccer team. This is not an amateur league team. This is a professional soccer team. But they're into promotion, they're into community involvement, they're into fan appreciation. And to get the game to grow in Central Ohio, they are allowing regular citizens, one for every home game, to play with the team. Now you have to sign about an inch thick of papers releasing them from any liability in case you keel over in the middle of the game, which is very likely. But they're not worried, because you would have to go back to our previous item where I said there's 800,000 heart surgeons in Ohio, in Central Ohio. So even if you keel over, they just look up in the stands and there's 7, 8, 9, 10 women and men ready to operate on you right on the field. And they could probably just give you a heart transplant right in between at the halftime. All right, but that's participating at that level with a professional team is a very unusual promotional move, and it's something you can only do in Columbus, Ohio. Number 8. Hey, are you tired of gas prices? Are you tired of paying out the nose just to drive your vehicle around? If you come to Columbus, Ohio, you don't have to worry about that. Why? Because it's in the middle of an agricultural bountiful land. It's a farm state, folks. It's an agricultural wonderland. And what that means is that gas is cheap. Why? Because every gallon of gas sold in the state of Ohio is 3/4 ethanol. What's ethanol? It's corn oil. It's made from corn. Well, what do they grow in Ohio? Out your ears. Corn. And that's why gas is 75 cents a gallon for premium, guys. I mean, you could drive around Ohio 45 times for under $5, okay? Now, you do have to have your car adapted to the ethanol special blend, right? The engine has to be tuned to the ethanol, and that costs a little money. That costs like $100. But guys, it's worth it to get gas, premium gas, for 75 cents a gallon. I mean, you'd think you died and went to gasoline heaven, and it's number 8 on our list of things you can only do in Columbus, Ohio. Well, what about fun? Let's go to number 9. What about fun? What about, isn't there a Disneyland or something? Don't they have a Disney World or an Epcot, or what is there to do with the family? Where can we go? Guys, there are a ton of things to do in Columbus, Ohio. Now, the whole state has all kinds of amusement parks and water slides and stuff. All right? But in Columbus, Ohio, what is one of the original things they had in Columbus, Ohio? That's right, cows. It was called a cow town for years, and for good reasons. It had tons of cows, and they still have them to this day. You don't believe me? Drive down Lane Avenue from Upper Arling toward the Ohio State University and look to your left. What do you see out there? Them are cows, folks. And here's the cool thing about it. You can take the family down there and get cow rides for 25 cents. You can take Ma, Pa, sister, and brother down to the Ohio State University Agricultural School and get cow rides for 25 cents a ride. I mean, you got gas for 75 cents a gallon and you can ride cows for 25 cents. What more do you want? And here's the kicker. You can do it at night. I mean, let's say you're sitting around at midnight on a Thursday and you're like, dang, I can't sleep. It's a beautiful summer night. Let's wake up the kids and go out to the cows. The cows are all lit up with LED lights, guys. I mean, it's unbelievable. You'll never have more fun than riding a cow in the middle of the night in central Ohio, and the cows are all lit up like Christmas trees. It's unbelievable. And it's number 9 on our list of things you can only do in Columbus, Ohio, midnight cow riding. And guys, that leaves one more on our list, number 10, of things you can only do in central Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio, guys. It's the state capitol. And that Capitol building was built shortly after the state became an official state. And what does that mean? Have you ever seen the Ohio State University? Yeah. I mean, the Capitol University? I mean, have you ever seen the Capitol building? Somebody needs some more sleep. Well, what is the unique feature of the Capitol building in downtown Columbus? The state capitol has a rotunda. Well, you know what's up inside that rotunda, tucked behind the alabaster pillars? That's right, a toy train. A toy train is up there, guys, and guess what? It runs constantly. It runs endlessly. It's a study by the Ohio State University on endless energy. It's a combination. It's got a small nuclear reactor. It's got a coal conversion engine, and it has a regular old ethanol engine. Guys, this toy train runs around the rotunda of the Capitol building day and night, and it's part of a secret study in conjunction with the U.S. Army, the Navy, and the Air Force to see if we can develop endless energy. And the only reason I know about it is there was some kids that found it on a tour, And I just heard them up there. I was taking the tour after, and I heard the kids up there. They got lost from their tour. They're up there riding the train. They're like, choo-choo, choo-choo-choo. And I said to the tour guide, I said, I think there's somebody up there in the rotunda. And she's like, sir, no, you didn't hear anything. There's nothing up there. Let's just continue walking. Follow me, please. Walkies, walkies. And I'm like, no, I think there's somebody up there. She said, no, you didn't hear anything. She's trying to keep it on the down low because she knows it's top secret. But guys, the kids were loud as heck. You can't quiet down a 5-year-old, especially if they're on an endless running train. So they decided to just make it not top secret and just open it up to the public. So you can just view it. You can't touch it. You can't ride it. But since it's paid for by the taxpayers, they figured they better be fessing up early in case the Columbus Dispatch or some other publication busts that story wide open. But it's to your benefit because now you can go to see the endless train running around the rotunda up in the ceiling there, up near the ceiling at the Capitol building in the state capital of Ohio, and that city is called Columbus. And that is the end of our list of 10 things you can only do in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, that was pretty good. I kind of lost it at the end there. But up to that point, it was pretty good. Up to the end.